Hi, welcome. I'm trying to learn geology. Today, weeks, and after we've done that, we're gonna do body center training. And if you participate in the body center training, then it's already on this. And we have just a dictionary entries. Levee, and I don't know how it's pronounced. I didn't know what it is. That's a minute ago. Levee, that is the bank of a river raised above the floodplain by deposition of sediment. I don't know what a floodplain is. Okay, the bank of the Levee itself is the bank of the river raised above the floodplain. And now there are depositions of sediment. So the Levee are the depositions of sediment there because the river had risen and let it there. Repeated flooding can build up the sediment on the riverbed and levees until they are raised well above the surrounding countryside. This occurs, for example, along the lower reaches of the Mississippi River in the United States of America. Okay, first, that can happen repeatedly every year by flooding, or a couple of times per year. So water rises, here the graph. The water, let's read from the graph. River before flood, so the water is just running. River during flood. The flood stage water level, so the water is now high, above the usual water, and also at the sides. Corrase sediments are deposited at channel edges. So at the edges of a channel, where it is more likely that sediments are happening to be settled there, deposited there. Fine sediments are deposited over outer floodplain. And finer, corrase sediment close to the banks where it goes down into the river, close to it, and more fine sediment further away. River after many floods. Natural levees build up after several flooding. Gradual sedimentation also raises the riverbed. Okay, now basically, so every time the river goes over its banks and it floods, it takes a bit sediment with it, and corrase one is now set next to it, more finer one further away, and over the time it goes higher next to it, and it basically makes a natural path for it. Natural levee, a river running across a flat plain, may flood from time to time, perhaps seasonally. At each flood, more sediment is deposited along its banks. This build-up of sediment along the banks, together with sedimentation on the riverbed, may eventually raise the whole river channel above the surrounding floodplain, with the water contained by the natural banks called levees. Okay, so we're going to mention the other thing also. Also, some sediment is set down in the riverbed. In the riverbed, it's called riverbed. In the riverbed at the ground. And now also the river runs high because there's more on the ground, but the sides have also gone higher. So at the end of the day, the river is higher than the rest of the country. Okay, on the left side again. This occurs, for example, along the lower reaches of the Mississippi River in the United States. Natural levees are eventually broken by floodwater, and the river finds a new channel in the flood plain where the process of levee building begins again. Okay, at some time the natural levees are then broken by floodwater. The river finds a new channel in the floodplain. Let's take one look here if you're having floodplains somewhere. There it is. Floodplain. Flat land on the borders of the river, especially in the lower reaches, which is covered by a layer of alluvium deposits by the river during floods. As the river meanders, widening its valley with a series of sweeps from one side to the other, it builds up a broad plain on which sediment is deposited during floods. Sediment is also deposited on the riverbed itself, which raises the channel and along the banks, forming levees. If these levees are reinforced to prevent further flooding, or if the original flow changes its course and the channel dries up, the rich, fertile soil of a flood plain provides ideal farmland. Okay, the floodplain is the region in which the river is flooding. Usually, if a river has too much water, the region which is flooded now with water. Flat land on the borders of the river, especially in the lower reaches, which is covered by a layer of alluvium deposited by the river during floods. Okay, and that happens by the Mississippi in the United States. So Northern America, there's Canada, and there starts the Mississippi and it goes where the two rivers coming from the Canada part, so technically there's something coming from Canada, and then it goes through the United States down and then through Louisiana out into the Gulf. Naturally, these are eventually broken by floodwater, and the river finds a new channel into the floodplain. So, or is it not too high? It breaks out and it flows now somewhere else. What do you mean that? Maybe we're gonna skip that part in our presentation. In some areas, artificial levees have been built on top of the natural levees to prevent flooding. New Orleans, that is, I think in Louisiana, it's there in the United States in the meander thing of Mississippi. What is it called? I don't know what it's called. New Orleans is built on the Levee, which is largely artificial. But artificial levees may only postpone flooding, and raising the riverbanks even higher above a floodplain involves the risk that the eventual flood is more destructive than it would otherwise be, because there is more water. Because there's more water? Why is there more water? Okay, the same New Orleans is built on such big levees, but they have been artificially hired. This is one reason why the flooding of the Mississippi in April 1973 was the worst recorded in 200 years. Another feature of the high levees of the Mississippi in the region south of Baton Rouge is that by raising the riverbed above the floodplain, they prevent tributaries from joining the river. This allows the spread of bayous, swampy regions with sluggish drainage. Okay, the main river, in this case maybe the Mississippi, flows now higher, and the other rivers which will flow into it cannot come into it. The water doesn't flow into it, and it gets there, and it gets spreading, and it just stays there in big swamps. Okay. Levee. Are we able to do the presentation right now, or is it more a better plan to do it in the next video? It's a better plan to do it in the next video, because we were very much rushed. So that means that was the geology part. If you were here for geology, you can go directly to the next part of geology, where we will try to make a presentation about that and then explain what levees, artificial and natural levees are, and how they are in Mississippi, Louisiana, and New Orleans. Now, if you were here for geology, you can go directly to the next part of geology if you stay here and participate in the body center training. This is what the honors. We are having the legs standing hip width apart. We're going down into the knees. We're flexing the legs, pressing the legs together. And now, straighten one knee, press together, flex the legs, straighten the knee, press together, flex, and bend the knee again, press together, flex. Now straighten the other leg, press together, flex the legs, and bend it again, press together, flex the leg. Now something similar, legs wider apart, bit down into the knees, press the legs together, flex the legs, and straighten one leg. Press together, flex, and bend again, press together, flex, straighten the other leg, slowly, press together, flex, and bend again. And also the other way around, just stand up and press to the outside. Now, one leg up, right angle with the leg, flex foot, even the 9 hips taller with the back, and press over the top with his knee with a little bend in the air. And now press from the inside. And now press with the other side. Other knee up and press on the top. And on the side. Now press up and to the side. And now Next exercise. Leg up, press over side and over slowly. And close again. Our leg up and press over side and over slowly. Close again. And now, 3 exercises on the ground. So on the ground, and we do the first side plank, just on the elbow first, both legs together. You can do it also on the knees. So one leg up. And now into the long arm. First standing. Now arm out and leg up if you can like, and pull a knee to an elbow. And out to the other side. First on the elbow. And if you like, you can one leg up. And now on the long arm. And one arm out, then a leg up, and full elbow to knee. And up again, walk on the place. And one leg up, pull the leg up. Other leg up. And legs wide apart, breathing down. And breathing out. Again up. Out and down. Breathing in across the legs. And breathing out. That was the body center training. I thank you very much. Next time.